Welcome back to our channel. In the early 1970s, America stood at a crossroads of cultural shifts, economic challenges, and technological progress. Amid this dynamic landscape, an unassuming piece of metal, barely larger than a thumbnail, quietly rolled off the presses at the United States Mint. It was a one-dime coin, dated 1972. At first glance, there was nothing remarkable about it. But as time would reveal, this small disc would become a subject of intense fascination for numismatists and collectors around the world. To appreciate the significance of this coin, we need to step back and consider the era it emerged from. The early 70s were marked by the end of the silver standard in coinage, rising inflation, and a growing interest in the preservation of American history through tangible artifacts. Coins, once simply instruments of commerce, were evolving into symbols of national identity and historical continuity. In this context, every detail of the dime gained importance: the gleam of its surface, the sharpness of its engravings, and the legacy of the man whose image it bore. Franklin D. Roosevelt, whose profile graced the obverse of the dime, had been honored in this way since 1946, shortly after his death. His leadership during the Great Depression and World War II earned him a revered place in American memory. The dime was not just currency, it was a tribute, a reminder of resilience and determination. The reverse side of the coin featured a torch flanked by olive and oak branches, symbols of liberty, peace, and strength. These motifs, while consistent across years, were subtly influenced by the dies used in different minting cycles, making each year's batch a subject of scrutiny. The 1972 dime was produced at multiple mints, each leaving its own minute mark: Denver, Philadelphia, and San Francisco. These small letters, D, P, and S, hidden near the base of Roosevelt's neck, became clues in a larger puzzle. Most coins were struck precisely and entered circulation without incident. But among the millions produced, a few escaped convention. Variants appeared, misalignments, double strikes, and other anomalies. For most, these imperfections were mere curiosities. But for the trained eye, certain errors signified rarity. Over time, collectors began to take notice of one particular version of the 1972 dime. Its surface bore subtle differences: slight doubling on the date, a misaligned die, or a mint mark that looked out of place. Such features, invisible to the casual observer, became the focus of passionate study. Authentication became an art and a science. Under microscopes and in the pages of coin catalogs, the nuances of this special coin were recorded and debated. The coin's journey did not end in drawers or piggy banks. It passed through hands unaware of its uniqueness, perhaps tucked away as spare change or dropped into vending machines. Yet for those who recognized its true nature, it became a treasure. Stories emerged of sharp-eyed enthusiasts who discovered the coin in the most ordinary of places: a box of old change, a forgotten jar on a shelf. Each tale added to the legend, and numismatic experts began to highlight the coin at conventions and in specialized publications. Its rarity, once obscured by the sheer volume of 1,972 dimes in existence, began to stand out more clearly. Gradually, its value appreciated, not just in monetary terms, but in cultural and historical weight. Collectors valued it for what it represented, a hidden gem from an era often overlooked. The mystique surrounding the 1972 dime grew stronger with time. As more people entered the world of coin collecting, drawn by tales of hidden fortunes and overlooked rarities, this dime became a beacon. It symbolized the potential lurking in everyday objects, the stories etched in metal that could bridge generations. Each examination of the coin, its weight, its luster, the clarity of Roosevelt's features, offered new insights. Technology advanced, allowing even more precise assessments. With each passing year, the pool of known specimens with the unique markers dwindled, increasing the coin's allure. Today, the 1972 dime is more than just a piece of change. It's a testament to the unexpected paths history can take. It reminds us that even in an age of mass production, uniqueness survives. Somewhere, someone still dreams of finding it, perhaps in a childhood collection or tucked behind a drawer. And when they do, the discovery is nothing short of magic. The numismatic world is rich with stories like these, but few capture the imagination quite like this one. The 1972 dime has become an icon not only because of its rarity but because of the way it continues to spark curiosity and inspire hope. Its legend has transcended generations, passed down from one enthusiast to another, drawing in both seasoned experts and wide-eyed beginners. It's a coin that teaches us to look closely, to pay attention to what others overlook, and to believe in the potential of small, forgotten things. Collectors have journeyed across states, sifted through mountains of change, and read through thousands of coin references in pursuit of just one example. This particular dime has a way of weaving itself into personal narratives, those of fathers and sons bonding over their collections, of grandparents sharing stories of old money, of curious individuals inspired to learn history, economics, metallurgy, and design, all because of a single, shining piece of metal. And what makes this story so captivating is that it continues. Somewhere out there, another 1972 dime might be waiting to be discovered. It might be hiding in a forgotten coin jar, stuck beneath a floorboard, or nestled in the back of an old jewelry box. And when someone finally finds it, the spark will ignite once again. The story will be retold, the awe will return, and the legend will live on. In our fast-paced digital world, where everything seems replaceable and disposable, the enduring value of this coin reminds us of the opposite, that even the smallest item can have great significance, that even the most common object can hold a hidden treasure. It reminds us to be observant, to cherish history, and to pass on the wonder to others. And now, after this journey through history, rarity, and discovery, comes the moment many have waited for. That single 1972 dime, so easily overlooked for decades, has been appraised and authenticated. Its value? A staggering $135,000. In the mid-1990s, America found itself in a decade defined by rapid technological advancement, booming economic confidence, and a deepening nostalgia for the icons of its past. It was an age of innovation but also of reflection, as collectors and historians alike began to look closer at the everyday objects that had quietly carried the nation forward. Among them was the 1994 one-dime coin, small in size, humble in appearance, yet brimming with untold stories and surprising significance. To understand the quiet legacy of this coin, we must travel back to the context of its creation. The year 1994 was part of a time of economic prosperity in the United States, where the stock market was climbing, the internet was beginning to reshape communication, and American households were filled with a sense of optimism. Amid this backdrop, the U.S. Mint continued its long tradition of producing coinage that was both functional and symbolically rich. The 1994 dime continued the decades-long homage to Franklin D. Roosevelt, the only American president elected to 4 terms and a defining figure of the 20th century. His likeness had graced the obverse of the dime since 1946, a tribute to his legacy and his role in founding the March of Dimes to combat polio. The image was more than just a profile, it was a symbol of leadership during hardship, a face of hope and determination. The reverse of the coin remained faithful to its time-honored design, a torch flanked by olive and oak branches, representing liberty, peace, and strength. While unchanged from earlier years, the 1994 minting brought with it a quiet precision and expert craftsmanship born of modern minting technologies that allowed for cleaner strikes, more defined details, and a more polished finish. Minted in Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco, each facility left its subtle fingerprint in the form of a tiny letter, P, D, or S, just to the right of the torch's base or near Roosevelt's neck on the obverse, depending on the coin. These mint marks, while easy to miss, would later help collectors trace the origins of particular pieces and uncover subtle variations that would prove critical in assessing rarity and value. In most cases, the 1994 dime circulated freely, indistinguishable from the millions of other dimes exchanged across counters and vending machines. Yet, among those countless coins were a few anomalies, dimes with misaligned dies, double strikes, or even missing clad layers that exposed the copper core underneath. These were errors that the mint sought to prevent but which occasionally slipped through the cracks, becoming the rare and valuable exceptions to an otherwise uniform production. Over time, collectors began to discover these oddities, sometimes in pocket change, sometimes in carefully stored rolls of coins that had been kept untouched for years. The thrill of uncovering such a coin became part of the lore of the 1994 dime. A faint doubling of the date, a barely noticeable shift in alignment, or a mint mark struck in the wrong place, each irregularity gave a once common coin a new identity and an elevated status among collectors. As the years passed, the 1994 dime began to be featured more prominently in numismatic guides and community forums. Enthusiasts debated the definitions of certain varieties, shared their discoveries, and began to build a richer understanding of what made certain versions of this coin so unique. For some, it became more than a hobby. It became a mission to find the perfect specimen, the rare error, the coin that had beaten the odds. The coin's cultural significance also began to emerge more clearly. As Roosevelt's image endured on the dime, his legacy was rediscovered by a younger generation curious about history. The coin became a subtle educational tool, a bridge between past and present. In classrooms and coin clubs, it prompted questions about the Great Depression, World War II, and how nations choose to honor their heroes. Even those outside of collecting circles began to hear of the value certain 1994 dimes had accrued. Tales circulated of people finding rare variants among old change jars or coin rolls purchased from banks. The idea that something so small, so overlooked, could hold such worth, both sentimental and monetary, captured the public imagination. But what truly sets the 1994 dime apart is not just its rare errors or its historical design, it's the way it encapsulates a moment in time. It is a relic of a decade filled with contradictions, analog yet digital, traditional yet forward-thinking. Holding a 1994 dime is like holding a fragment of the 90s itself, a tangible piece of a fast-moving era that still honored its foundations. Beyond its physical characteristics, the 1994 dime has an emotional resonance. For many, it serves as a reminder of childhood piggy banks, of trips to the local corner store, of saving up for something special. It evokes a sense of nostalgia that is deeply personal. Those who collected coins as children in the 90s might recall sorting through their change, searching for pieces from every year and every mint. The 1994 dime would have been a common find then, unremarkable in its ubiquity. Yet now, in hindsight, we understand how extraordinary it truly is. Collectors and historians often speak of the ones that got away, coins that passed through their hands before they knew what they were worth. For many, the 1994 dime became just that, a memory of a coin once held, now possibly worth a fortune. It urges us to reconsider what we discard and to find value not only in rarity but in story, in craftsmanship, in history. Over the decades, the U.S. Mint has refined its techniques, incorporating increasingly sophisticated methods for striking and quality control. But no system is perfect. Human error, machine wear, and even environmental conditions can introduce subtle anomalies into a coin's production. And it's in these moments, these imperfections, that opportunity lies. Because collectors know that it's not the perfect coins that tell the best stories, but the ones with quirks, the ones with scars, the ones that whisper of their journey from mint to market. The story of the 1994 dime is, in many ways, a story about discovery. Discovery not just of metal and minting, but of legacy and value. It's about realizing that every coin in our pocket has a past, that every object we overlook might have a story waiting to be uncovered. And perhaps most importantly, it's about the joy of finding something rare in the most ordinary of places. And now, after this extended journey through the economic backdrop, the artistic design, the production details, and the cultural ripple effects of this extraordinary coin, comes the part that never fails to spark amazement. That humble 1994 dime, overlooked by millions for so long, has become one of the shining stars in the numismatic world. Its value? An astonishing $120,000. In the year 2004, America was embracing the energy of a new millennium. The nation was still adjusting to a world reshaped by recent history, technology was accelerating, and a renewed sense of exploration into the past had taken hold. During this period, the smallest of objects often held the deepest stories, and among them was the 2004 USA 1 dime coin. It slipped easily into the folds of pockets and purses, a quiet and unnoticed companion to daily transactions, yet it harbored stories waiting to be unearthed. To the untrained eye, the 2004 dime might look identical to its many siblings struck across decades, compact, silver-toned, and reliably familiar. But upon closer examination, this dime reveals a richness of detail, history, and in some rare cases, extraordinary value. It stands as a time capsule of its era, its symbols, its production, and its journey through the hands of a nation. The obverse of the 2004 dime features the enduring profile of Franklin D. Roosevelt, a statesman whose legacy has remained engraved in American consciousness. His stoic expression, carefully captured in the contours of the coin, speaks to resilience and leadership. The date 2004 sits just beneath his neckline, anchoring the coin firmly in its moment of creation. To the right, a small letter D, P, or S marks the mint of origin, Denver, Philadelphia, or San Francisco. The reverse remains iconic, a torch burning brightly in the center, flanked by an olive branch on the left and an oak branch on the right. These symbols are not just ornamental, they are deeply representative of American ideals, liberty, peace, and strength. The design is deceptively simple, yet it has remained virtually unchanged since 1946, a testament to its enduring significance. The United States Mint. Advances in technology during the early 2000s ensured that coins like the 2004 dime were struck with remarkable precision. Yet even with improved equipment and processes, the human element remained present, and so did the potential for imperfection. In a sea of flawless coins, it was the flawed ones that began to capture attention. Among the millions of dimes minted in 2004, a select few emerged with distinctive errors. Some were double-struck, others were off-center, and a rare few displayed anomalies like missing clad layers or rotated dies. These coins, though rare, were not instantly recognized. Many entered circulation, exchanged unknowingly at registers and vending machines, and were lost to the tides of daily commerce. Collectors, however, are trained to look closer. Over time, as reports surfaced of these unusual 2004 dimes, interest grew. Numismatic communities began to trade stories and photographs, piecing together the variations and building a shared understanding of what made these coins exceptional. Some dimes showed a ghostly doubling of the inscriptions, others revealed an inner copper layer through an incomplete outer coating. One such error, a 2004 dime with a missing clad layer on the obverse, drew particular fascination. It revealed a reddish tone where silver should have gleamed, a striking visual difference that set it apart immediately. This specific variety, authenticated and graded by experts, became a symbol of how even in a modern, tightly controlled minting process, the unexpected could still occur. The rise in interest wasn't confined to numismatists alone. Stories of valuable dimes found in pocket change began to surface in local news segments and online forums. Treasure hunters of all ages began examining their coins more closely, inspired by the idea that a small fortune might be hiding in plain sight. The 2004 dime became part of this larger cultural moment, a symbol of overlooked potential, of hidden gems in everyday life. The beauty of the 2004 dime lies not just in its rare errors but in its broader symbolism. It captures a moment when America was moving swiftly into the digital future while still cherishing physical artifacts. It represents the fusion of history and modernity, of timeless design and new age curiosity. Every scratch on its surface, every faded edge tells a story of use, of value, of connection. Families passed these dimes from hand to hand, unaware of what they held. They clinked in change jars, hid in couch cushions, and rested silently in car cup holders. Some were saved by children learning to count money, others were spent at gas stations or given in change at diners. The story of the 2004 dime is not limited to its creation, it's found in its travels, in the lives it touched without ever speaking a word, and today, years after its release, the 2004 dime continues to capture imaginations. Collectors scour rolls and change banks, hoping to find the misfit that slipped through unnoticed. They study minute details, the spacing of letters, the thickness of the rim, the placement of mint marks, all in search of something rare. It's a quiet but passionate pursuit, one that connects people across generations and interests. The cultural backdrop of the early 2000s also adds another layer to the dime story. It was a time when America was redefining its identity, navigating a post-9/11 world, experiencing the early rise of social media, and witnessing a tech boom that changed daily life. Yet, even amidst all that change, the dime remained constant. A physical reminder of value in an increasingly digital economy. While bank accounts moved online and credit cards became more prevalent, coins remained tangible, a comfort rooted in tradition. What makes the 2004 dime particularly fascinating is how it exists at the intersection of change and constancy. It reminds us that even in times of great transformation, there are elements that remain steadfast. The Roosevelt dime, in both design and function, has endured. And 2004's version is a perfect emblem of that perseverance. There are countless anecdotes shared by collectors, stories of discovery and chance. A retired veteran finding a 2004 error dime while helping his granddaughter count her allowance. A college student who began coin collecting during quarantine and stumbled upon a rare variant in a bag of laundry quarters. These stories add richness to the coin's narrative. Each discovery is more than just a find, it's a moment of connection, of surprise, of joy. And what about the people at the mint? The unseen hands that prepare the dies, feed the blanks, inspect the strikes. Behind every coin is the labor of men and women dedicated to precision, who take pride in knowing that what they create will live on long after them. Even they sometimes marvel at how certain errors slip through, a small reminder that perfection is an aspiration, not always a guarantee. Coin shows and numismatic conventions across the country still feature the 2004 dime in discussions and displays. Its errors spark conversations, its beauty draws admiration, and its history inspires. Children at their first coin show hold it alongside older collectors who remember when it first entered circulation. It's a bridge between past and future, between generations, between people. So, what becomes of a dime that defies the odds? What value does the world assign to something so ordinary, transformed by rarity and recognition? After all the speculation, study, and rediscovery, one particular 2004 dime, flawed in its perfection, perfect in its flaw, has earned a place among the most prized modern coins. And its value? An astonishing $115,000.